painful. So I think everything I just did is not streamed, so if you hear me twice, apologies, but I'm just going to hold for the 3-minute delay to expire here, so that we can make sure that the stream is working. Since I was... Apparently, while the stream delay was... When I stopped streaming because of the files not being valid, 3-minute delay caused my next start stream command to not work. So that happened. These try. Yeah, alright. We can certainly do that. Curious to see going on here, but hopefully the stream starts no problem and we can get back into it. Oh man, I'm sorry that I'm holding it up, but I just want to make sure that the stream is working before we get started, because it's going to be really awkward to do it mid-match. Is it everything? Okay, 84 seconds. Oh, jeez. So yeah, we got a minute and a half or so before the stream actually kicks up. And we can talk through the map, talk through the players, try to provide a bit more kind of directed action shots. But we're going to see in this match set here who shows up in third and who shows up in second. So exciting to see that. And hopefully, fingers crossed, nothing got screwed up between the stream before my NS2 waked out and this one. We have, what, 15 seconds to go until I can see the stream. So we should be able to verify in a second. Just kind of zoom around here while we wait. Let's see. And we should be live. Wonderful. Okay, we are live. Stream looks okay to me. And I think we can go ahead and get started. Thank you, everyone who was watching, for being patient. We're about to get into match 1 of Crush versus Ober. On Tram. So, Aliens starting north side in Warehouse. Again, Aliens, similar to Jambi, want to have this north lane under control. Ideally, this U shape where they can get all 5 resource towers. The Marines are going to be using these 3 lanes here to expand to. And so we're going to see a lot of early fights, probably in Hub. You can see here, probably got a nice little bit of parasiting here to sort of keep the Marine at bay. Between RF and AD sort of pushing Datsu back. You know, if the Skulk plays poorly here, they're going to get chipped down really hard, so that's why they're being really careful about hiding behind cover. But you can see here, you know, AD taking a little chunk from Datsu, and Datsu's being very careful to come in. He's parasited already, so he's just 2 bites away from dying. So he's going to want to be kind of careful, and you can see here he's pulling back and away into logistics and giving that lane up to Aliens. Small fight here in Elevator as we see 15 and Green Rex pushing themselves into Mezzanine. And you'll see here this is probably going to be an important fight because this tunnel right here is responsible for Aliens going from Warehouse over to Mezzanine. So we're going to definitely see some strong Alien pressure and attention here. It's going to clean up for 15 Bruv here, and then I think Green Rex died some other way. He must have died in Elevator. We've got Duddy here pressuring up into Warehouse, which is good. Definitely, if this lane is open, you can see he kind of went all the way up this lane. And so it's good if he can shoot some eggs, apply some pressure. You can see he's distracting both the commander and Domestus, preventing them from pushing either to the right side, where the spawners are heading, or down the center. So this is even if nothing's dying necessarily, he's making aliens pause, and then if aliens are leaving like they did, Duddy can walk in, start shooting eggs, applying some res pressure there, maybe killing a Skulk or two. As you can see here, he's cleaned up by these three, which gives Datsu a window to come into North Tunnels and start pressuring up here. And you can see here, Datsu in a 1v2, clears one Skulk, gets meted, gets cleared by the second. And there's no follow-up, so it looks like platform will be totally safe. We're gonna have some slight pressure from Green Rex up into Mezzanine. This is a pretty tough spot for him to be in, because he's got, with the Gorge and two Skulks. Pretty unlikely he's gonna make it up those stairs safe. Holy Xenocide's doing a great job of sort of holding the hub lane, with Duddy now coming in and joining to help. CRT's gonna go down here. So is a ref. The Gorge is gonna run away and get out of fire. Both Marines, knowing that they just got a 3 Skulk kill, knows that the alien team is respawning, and so they're going to get into position to start harassing this tunnel. You'll see the Gorge isn't even in the room yet, because he doesn't want to get picked before the fight starts. That is now 4 Marines in. Skulk's coming out of the tunnel, but it is a shooting gallery. They're going to get picked off. Oh, another 4 Skulk kill with nothing but the Gorge left. Tunnel is at 20%, and it's dead. This is really rough for aliens. You'll see here we got 15 brought up in platform. We got Punished Calm up here in server, and we got now 2 in Mez, and so that's going to be 3 lost RTs here. And Green Rex preventing aliens from expanding into ore, so really locking the alien team down. An Lurk Egg kill by Green Rex in Warehouse. In this game, Lifeform kills while they're incubating in the egg cause the player to lose all of their expended resources and gain no Lifeform. So, huge win for Green Rex into Warehouse. Normally, to prevent that, aliens will Lifeform egg either kind of around the corner or up in the rafters or in a vent. So unfortunate for ADHD Lurk. Aliens are able to, with their remaining Lurk, however, clear Mezzanine, get that tunnel right back up in the same spot. Normally you'd see a structure or two around here to help with the tunnel, but we haven't seen that yet, probably because aliens have struggled to maintain their early resources. But they do have Mezzanine again, and if they can hold it while the Hive comes up, that would be good, but again, losing a Lurk early is really going to make it difficult for them to maintain their defensive presence. We do see ore processing wide open here. This is normally kind of an expansion spot for aliens if they notice that Marines are not in force up here, so I don't know if they've left this open thinking that a Marine will be here soon, or what exactly they're planning. But, so far anyway, the Marines seem very heavily dedicated to Mezzanine. Again, we have 4 Marines coming up into Mez out of 5 on the field. So, this is definitely a time for aliens to either trade or defend here. And it looks like aliens are opting to, at the very minimum, take repair res node down. You can see over on the other side of the map. But I don't know if that's quite worth losing Mezzanine, especially while the server hive is unfinished. Gorge running for his life now that the tunnel has gone down. Trying to play around the Lurk, unfortunately going down. He overcommitted against these 2 Marines. A ref going to retreat for healing at the hive. And Mezzanine getting cleared by Marines. Hopefully, with a scan here to look for any hidden aliens. Luckily, the scan did not cover the server room hive, which is at 40%. So hopefully, while Marines build Mezzanine, aliens have a chance to sort of gather up, recover, and push them out of Mezzanine for a 3rd time. But it looks like, okay, they are going to take the defensive option and get that tunnel up in server room. Totally fine, especially in the mid to late game. It's not uncommon to do something like that. Obviously, you don't want to be giving it up at the 5-minute mark if you can avoid it, but, aliens, I think, have done a good job of being reactive here. Unfortunately, losing 2 Skulks in this really awful, you can see here, really awful corridor where there's a nice long hallway for Marines. Phase Gate coming up here. This is a normal push site for this map. You sort of have push sites here, siege here, and another push site here. So this is definitely one of the common siege sites. I think Marines are aware that they have a great potential to push in with their phase gate from Mezzanine right through this long hallway and into this unbuilt server hive. The hive will come up before they can push in, so unsure what they're going to do with this gate in the short term, but my prediction is a couple minutes from now, shotguns, walk into server, close the game, is my guess, but we will see. We have a 4 alien push here, 2 Skulks at alert, 1 Skulk going down almost immediately, Wraith running in and dying. Unfortunately unable to pick a kill on his own. A rough and solid backing up. Again, losing a Skulk is not the end of the world, although it does obviously truncate the strength of your push. But losing the Lurk would really probably be GG for Aliens this round. We do almost have Fade Res, so hopefully Aliens can stall out for Fades. Shotguns are going to be up, you know, very, very fast tech. Comes up in about 20 to 25 seconds. A rev. Hurt, but fine. And then we do have some pressure on the back res. We have Duddy here dealing with Domestus. Domestus successfully getting the resource tower down. And Duddy building. And normally you'd see Marines with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 resource towers, so the fact that they're on less than that, capping a 5th with Elevator uncapped, it's not the worst thing in the world for Aliens right now, although I'd love to see a Skulk or two, you know, like ADHD Lurk is doing now, sort of going from back res to back res, bouncing Duddy around. Possibly a second Skulk joining that effort. We just have to be careful, because when Marines come in with 4 shotguns into server, you're going to need some more defense than just a Lurk and a Fade. Although maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. You see here a huge fight here with the 2 shotguns, and you can see here, this is how shotguns want to... Oh, both Fades are up. That's great for Aliens. So it's 2 Fades, a Lurk, and a Gorge. Gorge carefully playing in and out of the Hive. Unfortunately, Lurk and Fade going down to the shotgun pressure. Again, in a shotgun push, in a competitive sense, what you're looking for are the life forms. You're not necessarily looking to damage the Hive immediately. You're looking to sort of get in and around the Hive so that the life forms can't hide behind the Hive and heal. That's exactly what these players did, is they ran right up next to the Hive, waited for the life forms to forcibly engage them, and then just started cleaning them up. No problemo. And they're going to do the same thing here to CRT if he's not careful. You can see CRT trying to play around the Hive, but he can't because the Marines are surrounding it with shotguns. He's trying desperately to get healing, but he's not going to find it. He's running back to Warehouse to get the healing he needs. And all in the meantime, Marines are just plugging spare shots away into the Hive. You can see the Skulks doing the same thing, trying to get out of the way so the Fade can come back. Bonewall keeping the Fade away from the Marine. More egg spawns that Skulks can spawn on the floor, but again, every Skulk is 1 shotgun shell away from being sent to the spawn queue. And with this Hive going down, it's going to be very difficult for Aliens to recover. Especially since, yeah, they're just getting wiped, cleaned up. And losing your Fade and both Lurks in just a couple of minutes of them coming onto the field is going to be very, very difficult for them to recover from. Certainly plausible if Aliens can expand down here, but I think it's going to be very tricky for them to recover. We do have Wraith going a late Lurk, so they do at least have 2 life forms on the field. ADHD Lurk almost at re-Lurk res, so he might be able to go Lurk again, but you know, it's really going to boil down to how effectively Aliens can maintain their resource flow, because they really do not have the tech point advantage that you would expect them to have at this point in the game. We have Domestus looking on the right side for res nodes. He's not going to find one in observation or in elevator. He's going to probably head on over to logistics and repair and get caught by Holy here, who's, I think, waiting patiently for him to arrive. We have a whole big alien push in hub, likely pushing for RTs and repair expansion, as I mentioned earlier. You know, this is probably what you're going to want to expand to with this mezzanine gate. It's going to be really hard to take this part of the map ever again. And Marines taking advantage of the fact that they know Aliens are on 1 Hive. They can't afford to trade Warehouse, so they're going to get a gate up here in platform. And this is a really tough spot for Aliens to take, because they have a nice long hallway here to get shot down. Power node is nice and tucked away, and they're just going to probably run right on in and harass these life forms and eventually clear the Hive. So we'll see. I mean, we have Lurk Spikes, which is good, but you know, ADHD Lurk can only do so much against 4 Marines, and they know that, so they're going to run right up next to the Hive, immediately pop Wraith. Fade is going to be okay. Just took a light hit there. And you can see, similar to the server Hive, although this Hive is much better defended from the angle they're pushing from, and that's why they have to run all the way around and up that ramp to affect the Hive in the same way. But with no... I don't see... They do have a Crag, but no shift. Unfortunately, ADHD Lurk going down to a rifle. You know, Aliens now on 1 Fade, no Gorges. It's going to be very difficult for Aliens to handle this really aggressive, tight-knit shotgun approach. I mean, what is a Fade going to do running into these 3 Marines? They're going to get melted. And the Fade knows this. The Fade's kind of looking around for weakness, looking around for Marines that are kind of separated from the pack, because he knows if he comes in, he's going to get blasted. He's going to try to poke, and he's going to get hit. Trying to play very carefully. He knows his life is the most important thing right now. Comes in for a couple swipes, does clear 1 Marine, which is good, but if he's not quick enough, it's just going to happen, you know, that Marine's just going to walk right back in and reinforce. So we're just kind of waiting here. The Aliens slowly waiting for a push with the bone wall, separating the Marines. That's 1 down. 2 down, and Third Marine is still around. Fade might be able to clean him up if he's careful. Oh, he's really hurt. The whole alien team is dead except for the Fade. So Marine's really trying to pinch this Fade and knock him out. Fade's doing his best to sort of flit in and out of hive healing range. Marines are not packed up right now, though, so this is really Alien's best shot at kind of pushing the Marines out. Ooh, last hive down to 50%. We're hearing that kind of last hive hurt gameplay here. And Aliens have to all in defend this hive. There's nothing healing the hive, a ref lurk coming back up, but you know, a single slip up here and this hive is toast and Marines win the game. And Marines know this, they're letting themselves fall to 3 RTs. Aliens trying to expand, and we have Domestus looking for res nodes to try to kind of constrict their med pack flow even further. But I really think the correct play would be to have just 1 Skulk covering and 1 Gorge, maybe even 2 Gorges, because you have to keep this hive up and running. Gorge trying to heal the Skulk who's running in. You know, Skulks, despite the fact that they're 1 shotgun shell away from death at all times, they're also the most expendable. So if a Skulk runs in and gets killed, not the end of the world in the grand scheme of things. That's why you might see Skulks kind of running in. Unfortunately, losing a Skulk behind the hive, doing a whole lot of nothing. CRT trying his best to get some swipes in. Again, stalling the Marines right here is technically totally fine. Oh, Fade really hurt, but he's going to make it out okay. And again, this is key, because with the Marines stuck on the floor down here, you can see it's very difficult for them to hit the hive and do meaningful damage, and this gives the window for the Gorge, who is here from the hive. Oh, and the Fade died in the hallway! Oh, that's really bad. Oh, his monitor died. I hope that's not an excuse, and that actually is what happened, because with the Fade down here and nothing but a half-hurt Lurk who's not even in the room, I think Marines are emboldened, ready to come in, and they're probably going to clean up the game here with the final Lurk dying to a rifle on return. I think the Bober, unfortunately, is cooked, and that is going to be the GG. Excellent gameplay by Marines here, grouping up really smoothly, and I think there was just very little that Aliens could do in those scenarios, especially after losing a Fade so early and both Lurks so early. And this is sort of getting into some of the really key pieces of NS2 Marine gameplay, right? Like, yeah, it's true that you can hope that Aliens will throw their lifeforms away in sort of bad fights, but really the best way to get Alien lifeforms to be in a poor situation and get kills is to force Aliens on the defensive when they're going to play desperate, right? And CRT did a great job staying alive as long as he did, but the rest of the Alien team really was unable to keep their lifeforms for long when you had a bunch of Marines camping around the hive here in server, and then as they came into warehouse, sort of camping out right over here, it was very difficult for Aliens to punch that group of 3. So that was an excellent game 1 from Crush. And I'm going to very quickly update the scoreboard, so hold on a moment. And we're just going to wait here for... But it looks like I don't know if CRT's monitor is up and running anymore, or if it's still dead. But hopefully we can see Bober head over to the Marines as a 6-man. They might be swapping a player, I'm not sure. But, yeah, in the meantime, if anyone has any questions, curiosities, commentary on the last match, happy to talk through that. I really do think it kind of boiled down to really excellent Marine gameplay. Pushing into Mez early and aggressively, and then knowing when to fan out and keep Aliens out of platform and server at an early point in the game, and then pushing with shotguns right as they came up on the field. I mean, that is the sort of aggression you definitely want to see against an Alien team. The longer you give Aliens, the harder it is for Marines, and they really did a great job of just coming in, you know, snap of your fingers, hives going down, excellent positioning. Aliens could have tried a base rush at one point or another, especially when they had just the one Fade. They could have tried to, you know, trade server for either, you know, a phase gate or something else in Marine base to sort of lock them out of mezzanine and maybe recap. But I think, you know, that was a bit of a, that would have been a tough play for them, especially given that a lot of them were sort of skulks and otherwise you know, not equipped to do that, so I don't really know what the best solution would have been off the top of my head, but definitely, you know, the sort of what really happened, I think, was just Marines playing excellently in server and Aliens not really being able to punch through with their players. I do believe we have 6 Marines here. So, okay, looks like we're about to get match 2 underway of the losers finals. The winner of this match could, if the winner of the match is Crush, we're going to see who is second place in the tournament. So hopefully this will be a nice high-octane match. And let's get into it. Okay, we're going to see same starts as before. We're going to see Aliens in Warehouse and Marines in Shipping. We may see a very similar opening for Aliens. We're going to see Cysts all the way into platform here. We're going to see them, I assume we're going to see them to Mezzanine. We are not. We're going to see them just to platform, and I think what the Gorge is going to do here is get a tunnel up right there, I guess. Yes, we're also going to see Assisting. But the Gorge is going to build this tunnel, let the infestation spread over here to this resource node. Aliens are going to cap these 4. And then I think we are not going to see them capping ore early. This is not uncommon, because Marines can just walk right in there. And Aliens really want to be focusing their energy here. And you don't want to stretch an Alien team too thin too early. So, totally reasonable to not cap ore here, although I certainly think you could. Kind of boils down to how these 2 opening fights go. Let's see here. So we have a fight here in Mezzanine and an early Shade. Okay. It seems to be working to some degree. You'll notice that the Marines walked right past the tunnel. Sorry to spoil Marines here, but you know, this is kind of interesting to see the tunnel and the RT be hidden by the Shade. I don't know if Marines just skipped it because they were going for Alien kills, which is totally valid, or if they just missed the tunnel altogether. Either way, very interesting. You know, the Shade covers a reasonably large radius and provides cloaking for both structures and players. I've not seen a Shade in this position before, so kind of curious to see how that goes. This looks to me like a Drag? What is this? You're growing. What's it? Oh, these are Hydras. That's what these are. They're on the ceiling. Sorry about that. Couldn't tell what I was looking at. We're gonna have a nice fight in Logi here. 3 Skulks, 2 Marines. 1 Skulk going down immediately. 2nd Skulk able to clear ADHD. And you can see he's hurt, so he's stalling for his teammate. He wants to keep the extra bites around. Obviously, when you're a hurt Skulk, you definitely want to make sure that you... Exactly, and they're going to finish off Logi. Hurt Skulks, really you want to make sure you're staying around the RT and letting your teammates do the fighting so that you don't die. And the reason for that is because the more Skulks you have biting an RT, the faster it goes down. It doesn't really matter what their HP stat is. So that's why Duddy did that, and totally correct play, and he was able to bag that Logistics RT. You'll see here Marines with their 3 RTs working on capping the 4th. Not terrible for Marines. Aliens trying to cap ore. Probably a little too late, honestly, and that's how Solid was able to catch the Drifter. And likely the RT, because Aliens are all in on Mezzanine, probably, is my guess. If we look here at the map, we'll see a little bit of pressure to ore, just 1 Skulk, but, you know, if Aliens don't respond quickly to ore, Mezzanine, they're going to be in a lot of trouble. Buddy going down in Mezzanine, and the Gorge taking the tunnel out of here. Marines shooting the Shade directly, which is definitely a great way to find out that it exists. But looks like they're going to get cleared off. Yep, cleared off by the Lurks. We have 2 Lurks. We got Green Rex and Holy Xenocide. And we're going to take... so this is great pack player here. You see this 5 Aliens here. It'd be great if a Gorge was able to join them, but it looks like the... Oh, there's a Gorge here. Fine. So we do have a Gorge, and we have the rest of the Alien team here. And this is great, because a Gorge is basically a mobile healing base. We're going to have a Lurk protecting the rest of the pack from getting pinched. But otherwise, you have this amazing pressure here for 5 Aliens. And there is not a damn thing that a single Marine is going to be able to do about this. Unless they can maybe kill the Datsu Skulk or the Punish Skulk. But otherwise, the Marines' best play is to sort of just hold the line, wait for 2 or 3 Marines, and just prevent the damage from getting any more significant. And that's not quite what's happening here, but you can see elevator's definitely going to go down here, no problem. And it looks like aliens are going for an aggressive tunnel straight to elevator. They might go for a 3rd hive right off the bat with server coming up, 5 RTs. They could go for a 3rd hive in elevator if they're feeling greedy, but I don't know if that's the correct play. Gorge unfortunately getting picked off. Lurks both hurt and have no way to heal, so they're both going to leave, and that's kind of how you close this pact move here, right? Is sort of force a fight, force the Gorge out, or the Skulks, and sort of leave the 2 Lurks hurt on their own. And unfortunately, that means the Lurks are going to have to leave the fight, and as a result, the Shade is going to get picked off. And aliens have no tunnel on the map, meaning that Lifeform's going to have to go all the way from Warehouse to wherever they need to go after they get their healing. So we might see a tunnel redrop over... Is this a tunnel? It's a Crag? Yes, Crag and a Shift coming up in server for some structural support. No tunnel yet. Curious where they might... Oh, I see. It's still unbuilt in Warehouse. That's what it is. Gorge regorging in order to get the tunnel back up. So it does look like aliens want to commit to this elevator hive early, and they are going to drop it. Now, hives, when they're dropped, make a really loud noise in an incredibly wide radius. You can pretty much hear it all the way through to here. So ADHD definitely heard this hive drop, and you can see Marines getting shotguns now. Unfortunately, probably not going to have the res flow to get phase gates, but they may try to shotgun rush in here before the hive is completed. You'll see kind of Aref, Domestus, CRT possibly getting in position to push elevator here. But it looks like they're going to have to do it without a phase gate. My suspicion is if they wait for a phase gate, this hive's going to be up, and it's going to be nearly impossible for them to get in. We're going to see, unfortunately, 1v1s against 2 different Lurks. That is really not how you want to have Marines come in. Dom coming in way too late. That's not... This is going to... Yeah, it's going to get absolutely cleaned. Does kill the Skull. Basically, you know, a non-starter. And we're going to see here the 2 Marines holding. It looks like they're going to hold for phase tech, but I think it's tricky to hold for phase tech here. You know, phase tech takes about a minute to come online, and once it's up, with 2 Gorges healing especially, I think it's going to be very difficult for them to kill the hive here, and I think they know that. And that is why they're coming in with a whole bunch of shotguns while the hive is not built. An unbuilt hive unable to heal aliens in the room. Bunch of shotguns on the field. Unfortunately, they're splitting themselves up, making themselves prime targets for these Lurks and Fades. This is not the right play. They should be staying together in a pod, like the Marines last game did. We're going to see the Marines sort of backing up here now that phase gates are almost up and their team has mostly died. They're probably going to back up maybe to over here and try to get a phase gate. I think we might see that in a moment here. We're going to see... Maybe not? We do have another Gorge egg over here. We have 2 Lurks, Fade, and a Gorge. And we do have support structures, a Shift, which gives energy to all aliens in a very large radius, you can see here. And then a Crag here, which provides healing. We are going to get a pause from Bobert, which unfortunately is going to make all of the UI terrible. I don't know. But we're going to see a pause here, which gives me a little bit of time to explain kind of what's going on here. We have sort of your quintessential support structures. You have your Shift for energy, your Crag for healing, and a Whip for... And you can see it kind of around the corner, right? So that Marines can't ball up right here and shoot the hive. They're going to have to either hang out over here where they can shoot the hive, where aliens can hide behind right here. Or they're going to have to come in and burst the Whip down, which gives the Lurks, Fades, and Gorges plenty of time to pick off players. So definitely going to be tricky for them when they come into the room here. And with no phase gate and not enough resources to build one anytime soon, you know, it's going to be tough. I mean, they have a little bit of bandwidth before that biomass 10 is finished, but I think with 6 resource towers and all the life forms in the world, it's going to be very difficult for them to make a lot of headway. You know, they really don't have a lot of time to get an arc or much else on the field, so I do think they kind of are sort of pinned in a situation where they have to run in, but hopefully what they do is they sort of, as weird as it sounds, they kind of want to play it slow by running in, maybe standing over here, trying to wait for a Fade to come in and bag the Fade, maybe bag a Lurk by kind of running in towards the hive and trying to go just for a life form, and then sort of have the hope, hopefully the next spawn wave can come in and pick up the shotguns. It's going to be difficult for them, definitely, going into this hive, especially with Not a lot of resources in the bank and not a lot of tech to spare. But otherwise, we are going to see how this pause plays out. Okay, we're getting right back into it. Alright, let's see it. So, we got Marines here. I'm assuming they are... Yeah, they're backing up. I think they are going to wait for the phase gate, which is totally reasonable. Especially with all the life forms and support structures in the world at this hive. Are they going to abandon it? Oh, okay. They're going to abandon elevator, which could work if they're able to get up to another hive soon. But aliens noticing the lack of players are going to come in and clear up this resource tower. Possibly cap their 7th resource tower, which would be an awfully rough play for Marines. We are going to see Marines moving up into repair a logistics gate. I'm not entirely sure. Defensive gates at this point is really not going to work out for Marines, so I'm not sure. Did they build this gate maybe as a staging ground to get into ore processing? It kind of looks like that is the case. We have Dom in their main covering the logistics gate. I don't know. It's going to be difficult. You know, the Lifeform scouting, trying to catch Marines here. We have 2 fades and like 1 shotgun in ore. And I think they're going to clean up a ref, no problemo. Maybe? Yeah. A ref's going to get cleared up. That's not great. Biobomb on the way, which will make it harder for Marines to maintain their armor. It's a ranged ability from Gorges that sort of chips down armor, affects structures, and can destroy weapons that are dropped on the floor. So very strong ability. Gorges. Oh, Datsu fade, Datsu. Oh, 1 shot away. And the alien commander, smartly knowing that they need to invest in their fade, just provided their fades with a advanced metabolize, which not only helps with fade's movement and combat capabilities, but also provides them with healing on a regular basis. So that's excellent news for the alien team. You can see they're beginning to apply some pressure to the Marine base. Doesn't look like anything substantial happened, but, you know, the idea of that constant threat is going to keep Marines off the field, which is what aliens want to see. You know, in the meantime, aliens pushing their way towards... Oh, aliens pushing towards this gate here, probably going to try to clear this Logi gate with a 4-man. I think Marines just have to let this go. And they do. And instead, the Marines are going to get an ore gate up and running. You know, with all the aliens out of position, it's quite conceivable that they're gonna... Yep, Marines are predicting the aliens are gonna move into repair, and they're already prepared to face them. Duddy taking a meat shot directly to the face. Green Rex providing an unbelievable amount of spiking. Does manage to kill a shotgun. And you can see here Green Rex sort of spiking from this direction, another Lurk spiking from this direction. Very difficult for Marines to pick their targets. And sort of baiting them into a 4v2. And Dom separating from Domestus, and aliens capitalize perfectly, clearing both Marines with no problems. Definitely not what you want to see as a Marine. You don't want to split your shotguns up. By staying together is how you kind of keep aliens at bay. CRT able to recover 1 of the shotguns, but, you know, with 2 Lurks, Gorge, and a Fade, I don't think anything's going to happen here. I mean, we see some good shotgun shots, but unfortunately not enough to finish the job on anything. Marines dropping down to 2 resource towers. Aliens rapidly advancing in biomass from 7 now going up to 8. You see Duddy harassing the phase gate in Marine base, and a big alien push. All 6 players pushing into Marine base. They're going for that phase gate IP space down here. And the Marine commander jumps out and dies, meaning he can't beacon. It prevents them from respawning the Marines or moving them into their base. If they're not careful, they could run out of players and lose the game right here, right now. And it does sort of look like that is how that is going to go. All the Marines are dead, and they're going to call GG. Okay, so that is going to be a 2-0 for Crush. And a closure of the losers finals with Bober securing 3rd place and Crush moving on at minimum to 2nd place to the grand finals against W plus Mouse 1. I'm going to quickly You're going to see a freeze in the stream. I'm just going to quickly update the scoreboard. Okay, so we've updated the scoreboard. And I think, that last game, I don't know exactly what server we'll be heading to, but we might be heading to... Let me just quickly ask the teams. But we're waiting for W plus mouse 1 to connect, identify a map and a server. And in the meantime, I'll just kind of explain, last map, I think it was really tough. Aliens had kind of a great coverage here for a long time. Never really had marine pressure up in the server room area. There was some light pressure into mezzanine, but it didn't really materialize into a whole lot. Life forms were able to stay alive the whole match, which definitely puts a lot of pressure on Marines. And then Aliens really committing strong to that elevator transfer third hive, which does cost them. Those resources could be used for other techs, other ways to advance the Alien team. But the commander opted to sort of do that early expansion and then sort of lock this triangle down. And with the life forms, the players, and Marines being really hurting on their tech and their res, I think they just weren't really able to sort of commit clean life forms and make any progress. And there were an awful lot of really unfortunate splits, somewhat like, we saw it in Repair. We saw it again in Elevator. We had sort of players, one player coming in, and then another player being stuck here and one here where they can't cover each other. And, as Marines, it's really the most important thing is having line of sight of your teammates, right? Especially with shotguns. These are expensive weapons, and you want to make sure that wherever conceivably possible, you're covering your teammates. Because the best way to shoot an alien is to have them biting your friend's foot. So definitely some misplays by the Marines that last game, but also, not to diminish the reasonably strong gameplay from Aliens that last game. It was pretty good. Definitely the type of content you want to see. And let me just check the scoreboard here and see how that panned out here. So yeah, and you can kind of see here, to give everyone who's perhaps not as familiar an understanding of what this kind of post-game scoreboard is. Obviously, we all know what accuracy means. Generally speaking, because a Skulk takes about 10 bullets to kill, 20% is roughly the bare minimum accuracy required to kill a Skulk in a full 50-shot rifle clip. So that's sort of your baseline. Generally, in competitive play, you're expecting to see somewhere between 25 and 30. Not horrendous here, but certainly, not on the high side, especially with shotguns, where you generally have a higher accuracy stat. You look here at the team kill-death ratio of 0.5. That's pretty rough for Marines. Generally speaking, you're going to have less kills than Aliens if they can keep their life forms on the field, so that's not the end of the world, but with a 1 to 2 KD ratio like this, it just means that you're not killing the Skulks either, and that's not a great sign. Score, I wouldn't worry too much about score. It's more of like a general metric of impact, and you can see they're pretty close on Marines. Player damage, this is the commander here at the top, so not surprising that his is fairly low. And you'll see here, reasonably tight, with the exception of Dom's, who's a little lower. Structure damage, kind of low. You really want to see, and you can see the difference here, right? Structure damage for Aliens, 47,000. Marines, 5,000, right? Like, they were just completely pushed off. And unable to, make a dent on alien structures. Resource towers, defensive structures, hives, etc. They just got totally cleaned by the life forms. And then, look for Aliens, right? You see this really nice high structure damage. You see, your Gorge/Skulk player getting the most, which is exactly what you want to see. You see Lurks getting the next highest, and then you see the phase a little bit lower. And that's totally on brand and looks great. And you can see here we have a nice tech log. We have, again, this sort of fast map expansion, biomass, And then you'll see how late the upgrades came. So Marines could have taken advantage of these life forms that didn't have a lot of upgrades, but again, the life forms packed excellently, playing together in a nice tight ball, and Marines were kind of unable to match that cohesion, and that kind of got wiped off the map. And you can see here Marines with sort of the bare minimum tech push, but not really able to make great use of it. Although, Snake, I am going to make fun of you for your med expirations. That was kind of an oof. See that, especially when you were low on res. You definitely expired, of course, meaning that a med pack, each one of these cost 1 resource, so 13 resources going on the ground and disappearing and doing nothing is a little unfortunate. Especially when, if you look down here at the resource graph, you know, Marines generally want to be floating between 4 and 5, floating between 4 and 3 for most of the match, and Aliens floating much higher. Very kind of unfortunate situation for Marines here. Let me get rid of this garbage on the screen. Let me see if... so it's not clear to me where we are going. Oh, NMR, sorry, I was going to be like a more than 3-minute delay before I answer your question, but yes, the losers finals is best of 3, but the grand finals is best of 5. So we will get some nice matches out of the best of 5 between W plus Mouse 1, the American team, and Crush, the European team. And Thunderbolt, yeah, there's a 3-minute delay before I answer your question, but yeah, I mean, I'm talking basic bare minimums. I mean, yes, at the highest level of comp play, you want to be seeing 30-35% accuracy. But, you know, the way of the world is that you may or may not actually see that in some of these matches. So, you know, trying to hold people to a fair standard. But yes, you're correct. At sort of highest tier play, you would definitely expect to see between 30 and 35%. And that's mostly propped up by shotguns, but even rifles at 30% is pretty normal at the highest level, which is kind of what you need in order to threaten lurks. AIDS. So I am alone here, so they must have all gone somewhere else and not told me. Maybe bad an A? It's like, okay, it looks like the whole... Okay, everyone's joining here. We're going to hop into the North American server. All right. Oh, my goodness. Sorry, that took me forever. Okay. Apparently some sort of map reset going on here. Okay, so we're back to Zombie. For people just tuning in, you know, this map, you might not be as familiar with it. If you play public play, I personally think it's a poor public play, of course, being 10 players versus 10 players, and competitive being 6 versus 6. You know, in public play, I really don't like this map in particular. It's a little bit too small, and there's a little bit too many choke points that can really screw over aliens. But in competitive play in 6v6, this map is excellent. It is the bread and butter of competitive. And the small map allows the Marines to rotate nicely with fewer players around the map, while giving aliens plenty of opportunities to kind of make plays, group up, and keep things interesting. If we do play Jambi, and I'm not sure if we are, I will say before we get started though, for folks tuning in, the most important room on this map in the early game is this room right here, Oxygenation. Sorry for that goofy looking circle. Marines are going to be coming in through here for the most part, and this resource tower and room in general bisects the map for aliens. They're often sort of either starting in pipeworks, very occasionally in waste. They need to expand through oxygenation in order to do that. And Marines know this. They're going to try to lock this down, and if they can get in here and hold it, Aliens are completely locked out of the map and in a ton of trouble early game. So definitely going to see a lot of play over here. We're going to see a lot of play in Bay Wing over here, this sort of two-tiered room where there's a resource tower over here, sort of a ladder and jump down over here and a ramp. This is another big room on the map where Marines are going to try to expand in the late game and where aliens are going to try to get access to in the early game. And then we might see some sort of harassment play over here in organ donation with Marines coming up through here. And aliens trying to sort of expand right close to this hive. But, again, we will see if this is actually the map we're playing. I'm not entirely sure. I'm gonna ask real quick. So I don't know what map we're playing. I'm going to quickly update the scoreboard. Give me just a moment. Okay, so scoreboard's updated. And we are waiting for the map selection for these two teams. Obviously, if anyone has any questions, comments, curiosities, happy to answer them as we wait here for the teams to make their picks. I think going through Twitch chat, I think I hit all the questions, but if someone had a question from another map, obviously welcome to ask it while we wait. But I think we're just kind of, we're in a bit of a holding pattern here while we wait for the teams to join up. W plus mouse 1, of course, not having played today. Might just need a second for everyone to wake up, boot everything up, and get in. Although they might also all be here, and I might just be talking total nonsense. I do think they actually have their full team of 6, so I think they're just waiting to sort everything out. Possibly getting into their team discords and whatnot. Let's see. Okay. But yeah, feel free to... I mean, obviously it's not quite as easy to chat with a 3-minute delay, but we want to make sure that the games stay competitive, and there is no stream sniping for anyone who is watching the stream, and very likely at least someone from both teams will be watching, so we want to make sure that none of that's going on. And for anyone just tuning in, this is a best of 5 that we're about to be starting for grand finals for the Natural Selection 2 Open Tournament. We have already selected our 3rd place in Bober. We are currently trying to see who between Crush, the European team, and W plus Mouse 1, the American team, who will swing 1st place in the event. W plus Mouse 1... certainly seeded first, but we will see if it remains that way as we get into maybe into match 1 here. Also, yes, Thunderbolt, I do have a cat, and unfortunately he had decided to walk up and meow next to the mic and then walk away, so should be fine now, but yes, temporary cat moment. Okay, we're about to get the match started. 15 seconds, and we're going to see some really great, hopefully, gameplay here on Jambi. Let's see it. Okay, we are going to see a pipe start. This is kind of what you'd expect to see for Aliens on Jambi. We're going to see that expansion pattern on the north side, and we're going to see Marines splitting up and starting here. An early second IP... interesting, with Arms Lab here. I'm not entirely sure. It looks like the players have 6 Marines on the field, so no Marine in the chair. If aliens take advantage of that, they can rush base, and Marines are unable to stop them. However, you'll notice Marines have split up here. 1, 2, 1, 2. And this is in order... There's no way for aliens to sneak past and get into their base unless they were to come through trash ejection, which they did not opt to do. Instead, they took a fight here, and they won in X. And they are probably going to lose the fight here. Ranger getting 2 kills here in offload and moving himself into Organ, where he might catch the Drifter if the alien commander is not paying attention. We're going to see 2 Skulks coming in here trying to stop Ranger before he kills the Drifter. Does manage to save the Drifter, but Shu sneaking around, probably going to catch the alien players off guard with Duddy running away, not noticing Shu's coming. Shu's coming around the corner. He's going to dump the rest of his shots on the Drifter, and he is going to kill it. And now he's going to go for these cysts. Remember, you know, cysts are what spread infestation across the map, and if there's not any infestation covering an alien structure, it will take continuous damage. So that's why he's going for those cysts first, so the structure takes passive damage while he's doing rifle shots on it. But LMG and Shu pushing Organ here, while aliens are unfortunately struggling to also keep Oxy, with 2 Marines pushing past the Gorge fortifications and into Oxy. When you're in a situation like this, and this is correct play from the aliens, you're going to sack this resource tower, and you're going to try to hold Oxy, because if you fail to do that and you fail to get into the north side of the map, you are screwed. Unfortunately, aliens losing 3 players here to clear 2. It's not the worst fight in the world, but it does result in aliens not having that map coverage. You'll see Shu boosted up into this vent here by his fellow teammate, LMG. He knows there's a Skulk on the other end, and so it's kind of a waiting game. But as soon as Shu feels he's ready, he's going to pop out of that vent probably and head over into Oxy. So we're just going to kind of see how this goes. Green getting impatient and dying for it. Getting a Parasite and a Bite, though, which is good. Shu almost dead, basically. So the next fight he goes into, he's going to have a very hard time sustaining himself. 3 Marines started poking into this Oxy hallway. No Marine Commander, so no med packs for any of these players. Shu is going to stay at, what, 15 HP, which is less than a spit from a Gorge. So that's why he's kind of keeping his distance. He might, if a stray spit hits him, he's done. And you can see them both going down here. But 2 Marines sneaking through here and hitting from the other side. Gorge, very smart, getting out of the way, kind of using the stairwell here to block incoming bullets. Waiting for his teammates to show up. Green Rex coming in, cleaning out Ranger. Yams finishing off Green Rex, but the Artia at least being held. Aliens on 2 and Marines on 3 resource towers. Not terribly bad for aliens, all things considered. Another Drifter coming up to cap this 3rd resource tower because they know Marines are routed off the map. So all things considered, not a terrible early game for both teams. Mostly just low resource for both teams, but, you know, again, the resource game sort of favors, in this particular circumstance, somewhat slightly favoring aliens as long as they get their lurks up in the next 30 seconds or so. But with Marines getting up to 5 resource towers and aliens struggling to cap a 3rd, I think it is going to kind of immediately switch more into Marine favor. We'll see if Duddy's able to do any more damage to this repair resource tower. I think he's going to notice Noki and leave. UOK doing a great job getting down into supply lines. You can see here he just sort of took this open hallway past LMG player entirely and is committing to this resource tower. And you'll see Punished here is trying to distract Paperbird, at the very least dropping a Parasite to help his teammate. Parasite's allowing aliens to see Marines through walls, and allowing UOK to know exactly when to jump off the resource tower and grab his 2 bites. You'll see the Marines here have gone for pure weapons upgrades. This is not what you normally see. You normally see armor upgrades to give aliens a little bit more difficulty, because they have to get more bites on Marines to knock them out. But instead, they have opted for weapons upgrades, which increases their damage. You know, there's a play to be made here that they're going to do this in order to kind of whack the alien lifeforms early with rifles, but we will see if that pans out really well or really poorly. It kind of depends on if these lurks get surprised by the amount of damage that the Marines are doing at this point in the game. You can see immediately going for weapons 3, the highest tier of additional damage. And this does apply to structures as well, so you can see, you know, these cysts getting absolutely melted by weapons 2. And you can see a Lurk and a Skulk coming in here. This is the first time the Lurk can experience the high-level weapons. You might notice, unsure. It's not always easy for aliens to tell. There is a different shot sound for rifles depending on the weapons level, and really astute players will notice that, but you know, with all of the biting sound effects, it's kind of hard necessarily to tell until you've taken too much damage. We'll see here a nice 4-man, which is good. You want to see aliens packing up like this. They're going to find Ranger in the vent, but if he's in the vent, that's usually a really rough spot. Luckily, alien's able to clear him up without too much trouble, but You know, this can be really deadly if an alien's in here and there's no way for them to dodge, and they just get to, you know, get all their HP sapped away. 4v2 entering here, we got 2 lurks. Green Rex taking a ton of damage immediately, but otherwise doing fine. He got out of the way and let his teammate finish the job. They're going to wipe this RT here, drop Marines down to 4, as aliens are working on capping their 3rd. However, with alien base undefended, Marines have detected that and taken advantage of it by sending both Shu and Yams up here to Pipeworks. Shu looking for the upgrade chambers. That's what these shells are on the ground. Each one of these gives 33% of a boost to aliens. And it looks like both shells are going to be lost. Nope, one is going to be defended. That's good. Each one costs 15, so it's not particularly cheap for aliens to lose those. And we have two RTs being capped by aliens here, and another one in Oxy. So it does look to me like aliens are sort of recovering into the early mid-game. That's good to see. And we do have our Fade players coming up probably in the next 2 minutes or so. So Marines are going to have a bit more of a cushion before Fades. Going for advanced support and phase gates. They may be going for weapons 3, armor 0 shotguns, which is kind of amusing, or just rifles. Not entirely sure how that's gonna pan out, but certainly be amusing to watch. Oh, there's armor 1 finally. And this is big, you know, for focusing these arms lab upgrades, which is this structure here, really is what gets Marines catapulted through their tech tree. So definitely want to keep an eye on the arms lab and these armor and weapons technologies in a Natural Selection 2 game. And you can see here, you know, with aliens routed out of Oxy, their cysts are glowing red here, which means that they are not connected to a hive. Cysts disconnected from a hive will slowly take damage and die. And if we come over here, yep, see that one just died. With that, obviously the resource towers will start to lose HP, even with no Marines in the room. So aliens really want to make sure they can hold this lane. And at 7 minutes, not having a waste recycling hive is going to be really difficult for aliens. I mean, Marines are going to start pushing in the next minute or so for hive kills. Aliens can't get a hive here shortly. It's going to be very difficult. They're going to be in a really tough spot, especially if this phase gate comes up in either gravity or trash, or even Organ or Baywing would be a worst case scenario. You know, aliens are going to be really on the back foot, and I'm not entirely sure how they're going to be able to come back from that. You know, luckily, this low armor level means the lurks are able to, if they can get the drop on you with armor level being low, certainly can take advantage of that. So, good that the lurk took advantage of that here in Oxy. We're going to see Shu running through the vent here to push Oxy. We're going to see LMG players scouting for that organ donation RT. He's not going to find it, but he's going to waste all his bullets. Duddy's going to drop down from the ceiling and clean him up. And that's exactly what you want to see from a one-on-one Skulk Marine engagement. General rule of thumb, if the Skulk has to close the distance and the Marine sees you, as we see here with Duddy and Paperbird, usually the Skulk loses that fight. But if the Skulk gets the drop on you, much more favorable for them. And we are going to see a Harvester go down in Baywing along with the tunnel. And you'll see there they go for a more defensive tunnel back here. And finally, the Hive drop. This is going to be tough for aliens with 3 RTs. But, you know, they have the map they need right now. With Gravity Gate coming up and the Gravity Resource Tower coming up, Marines are coming back online with 4 Resource Towers. We're going to see a fight in Oxy here. 2 lurks. And one of them going down to concentrated fire from LMG player before he's killed by a Hydra. Unfortunately, losing a lurk with low resources means it's going to be very difficult for aliens to recover those life forms. However, with Fades on the field, I mean, the lurks have sort of done the bare minimum of their job, which is good. Sort of your tier 2 life form giving way to your tier 3. Duddy running out of energy! Getting killed by Shu. That is not what you want to see. You do not want to see a Fade running out of energy. They are sitting ducks without their signature rapid acceleration blink ability. So unfortunately, Duddy going down in Oxy and Green going down in Oxy, that is going to really set aliens behind. And this is the benefit of Weapons 3, right? That 30% extra damage is really what helps Marines burst down these life forms. And you really don't want to be on the receiving end of Weapons 3 without a lot of careful play. Hive's still only at 82%. 2 Marines walking in. They are going to see the unfinished Hive. They're going to probably kill the Drifter immediately. They are. They're going to try to push the Lurk in the Gorge. And it looks like they're stalling, waiting for the Fade. That's correct play from the aliens. Fade is going to get caught by Shu. Gorge is running in on Shu and dying. It's not what you want to see. You really want the Gorge to be over here, probably healing your life forms, since they won't heal on an unbuilt Hive. Both life forms having to retreat all the way back to Pipeworks to heal, giving Yams an opportunity to come through security if he wants, or go up to Oxy. And you can see here, aliens trying really hard to keep Oxy. Another Marine poking his head into Oxy and summoning the Horde. He goes down. But you can see here, Aliens working on very minimal tech. Marines looking very gorgeous on their tech right now with 4 RTs. But Aliens, I mean, they have 40 in the banks. They might be going for a bunch of tech now that this hive is finished. But, you know, Metabolize finally coming up to help with the movement capacity of Fades. And this RT is going to go down here and Oxy to off infestation damage. You can see it die right there. Aliens now down to 2 resource towers, and we have Paper Bird. Just killed another Drifter, which costs the same as a resource tower. It's not cheap, it's 8. You know, half the cost of a shell upgrade. Not what you want to see. Gravity Gate went down. I somehow managed to miss that. But that's great for Aliens. Not locking Marines out of the center part of the map is really important. And they're going to get Gravity here, which is good. We're going to see this. This is exactly what you want to see, by the way. Now that Gravity's dead, you want to see Aliens leaving Gravity and going for another Marine structure. Grouping up in a ball like this with the Lifeforms waiting patiently for the Marine to poke. They're not going to pinch Yams. They know Yams is leaving, and so they're going to just take their resource tower and then look to commit again to pushing them out of Gravity before this phase gate comes up. We're going to look here at... We're going to see a Nano Shield. First Nano Shield of the tournament. That provides extra armor to Marine players, makes it a little harder for them to get knocked out, but it does cost resources and has a long cooldown. Only works on a single Marine. Unfortunately, not enough to keep the phase gate down. We're going to see Marines immediately trying to move through offload to recover the phase gate, and with just Duddy, he's going to run. I think give them the opportunity to finish that phase gate, unfortunately for Aliens. We're going to see the Fade poking his head in. He's going to see that gate. He's going to immediately run away. He does not want to deal with the full force of the Marine team. Instead, I think he's going to focus his energy here on Noki and repairs with the other Skulks. We're going to see some excellent Fade play here. You know, he's going to see the next Marine probably in trash. And he's going to go in for the nice swipes now that the Marines blow most of their bullets on Skulks. That's exactly what you want to see. And, you know, it's a huge part of sound, and knowing when Marines are running out of bullets is a huge piece. Ooh, we're going to see a pinch here coming from X. If this Fade's not careful and he runs into these X-Marines with low HP, he might go down! Oh my god. Fade leaving at 14 HP is a hell of a spooky situation for Crush. Definitely could have gone a lot worse. We'll see the Skulks clean up the resource tower. Totally good for Aliens, and we're going to see them probably get cleaned up by Yams and Noki. While Marines are working to get back Gravity, this is where, if I were Aliens, I'd be focusing on the left side, and we're starting to see that with the supply lines gate. Marine Commander knows this. He's going to get out of the chair, jump through the phase gate, and try to distract Aliens here. Oh, this Lurk's going to die to LMG player, unfortunately. So, pretty poor trade for Aliens. They're going to go... I don't think they know about... They just found out about the gate. Unfortunately for Aliens, that's 3 Marines basically ready to go. And the Fade is forced out of the room with 4 or 5 Aliens now, or 4 or 5 Marines, excuse me, in supply lines. And unfortunately, the gate up in a Gravity. You know, in the meantime, Aliens are capturing 2 more RTs. They're capturing Oregon, they're capturing Baywing. They're trying to sort of recover in, and they're not bothering with Oxy, knowing that this Gravity gate is basically just begging Marines to come in and force. And you can see 1, 2, 3, 4 Marines pushing up into this early Oxy hallway, likely going to start poking into Baywing. But you can see the Aliens are aware of this big push up into X security, and they are taking advantage of Skylights starting to push down to the left side. However, I think Marines overreacted, and now they might be losing Gravity, although we'll see Yams probably bag the Skulks and keep the gate safe. Yeah. Gate's going to be totally fine. We come down to here, we're going to see UOK versus a non-parasited Marine, and you're going to just see the difference, right? UOK doesn't know the Marine's coming around the corner, and he's going to die here instead of getting that kill that he got earlier. Noki killing himself in console. Not entirely sure what the purpose of that was. Possibly to get more HP. But you can see here, Nano Shield on the phase gate. Same principle between the gate and the players. And you can see Aliens trying to kind of establish a grinder on this phase gate where you occupy both sides. Marine Commander very smart, putting a bunch of med packs on top of the phase gate so that Marines will phase through and immediately get healed. And that was more than enough with a bunch of spawners to push Aliens out. Shotguns are up. This is now kind of the hardest part for the Alien team by far. Now that shotguns are on the field, it's going to be hard. You know, one bad hit from a shotgun at Weapons 3, and there's not going to be much you can do about it. Marines, aware that shotguns are up, they now have their push potential. They're going to run into Baywing here. Noki and Yams, they're going to try to get that gate up, and it looks like they're going to get the power. Now, while Marines are building is when they're at their most vulnerable. It's just 2 rifles right now. No reinforcements on the way. Gravity going down. If aliens are able to swing by before the gate, they do not. So they do. Marines trade gravity for Bay. That's a reasonable trade for Marines here. We have aliens grouping up. Probably, are they waiting for the Skulks to clear the RT? It's going to be a big fight here in Trash in Bay Wing. We do see a shotgun come onto the field, and we see 2 Marines caught off guard going into waste. It's going to be difficult for them to come up and defend the gate. You can see one jumping up and down trying to hit the skull. But unfortunately, that gate is... Oh, watch the shotgun, watch the shotgun! Oh, 15 going down immediately. And Punished barely making it out alive at 50 HP. So that's a flash fade here from 15. Not what you want to see. And Marines, unfortunately, still holding the room in Bay. So, you know, really huge blow to the alien life forms and not a whole lot of gain to show for it. Except for some lost phase gates that can quite easily be replaced once the Marine Commander is back in the chair and dropping another phase gate almost immediately. You know, losing your tier 3 life form is really not a good sign for aliens. Green Rex at 32 res might be saving up for another fade. Hopefully that saving up doesn't cost aliens too much. Because it costs 35 to go fade and just 21 to lurk. UOK is in an egg. He's in a Gorge egg. Okay, it's good to have a Gorge when shotguns come in. You want to make sure that there's healing for Hive and life forms. We have 4 Marine push into the Hive right now, and the 5th is going to be joining them. Okay, so it's going to be 4 shotguns and a rifle. And you can see the first thing they do, right? They're going for life forms. They're going to push right towards the Hive, and they're going to push out the life forms. You can see the Lurk taking a ton of damage and forced entirely out of the room. And this is what you want to see, right? You want to see grouped up Marines. You want to see near the Hive pushing the Gorge out. Gorge jumping into the Hive to keep himself alive. Spawning eggs so there can be more Skulks on the field. Oh, the Fade. Oh my goodness. Okay, the Fade's going to stay alive. And we're going to see here, you know, the Fade's going to be fighting for his life. Healing around the Hive like he's doing right now. Sort of flitting around. Trying to see if he can catch a couple swipes. Any swipe damage is good. It's going to damage the Marine's health and the Marine's armor. Making them a little bit weaker the next time that someone goes in for a bite, swipe, spike, or spit. And you can see here the Fade, they're helpless. I mean, the Fade can't do anything against this many shotguns unless he's very, very careful. You can see immediately takes a whole bunch of shotguns to the face, and he's down. That is what happens right there when you have a bunch of shotguns. You have to run in on them. Alien's going to call GG. No life forms. Likely means no defensive capabilities remain for them. And they are going to quit. And that is game 1 of the Grand Finals. Excellent play from both teams, but I do think, you know, unfortunately, aliens weren't really able to solidify their advantage, and they did have that really tragic flash fade right here in Bay Wing near the end. And during the early game, they were sort of suppressed to the point where they could not get the economic technology they needed to sort of keep pace with Marines, so that was really tough for them. We're going to go and upgrade the scoreboard really quick. Just going to do that. Whoop. All right. Okay, so we're going to see a team swap, likely the same starts, but that remains to be seen. Depends on what the teams would like. I don't get to see the start until you do, so we're both going to be surprised together. It looks like we have folks from Crush sitting in the ready room. Just wait for them to join their team, feel like they're ready to go, and get into the next match. Let's see. Sorry, Nidal, I didn't see your question. Basically, that entire match. Sorry about that. What do you mean by big servers again, like back in the day? There is the Wuzo's Playground server and the Chinese NS2 server, both of which run larger than standard player counts, if that's what you're talking about. I don't know if you mean like a large community. I mean, the large community is sort of dependent on, you know, player interest, activity, all the above. There's plenty of servers out there if people were interested in joining them, so certainly would recommend giving it a whirl if you would like. But yeah, I don't fully know the question being asked there. And, you know, with Unknown Worlds retiring all official servers years ago now, it's kind of been community run for a long time. And that hasn't really changed. There's still an active community, tons of server owners, and generally speaking, if you're looking to play the game, you probably can. You know, there's also technically a matched play system and a matched play Discord, as well as sort of the competitive scene and the sort of casual public scene. So still some options to play different ways if you'd like. Kind of boils down to what you're looking for. But a lot of it is organized via community Discords, which you can find in the NS2 official Discord. If you were to join that, you will go to the community Discords chat, and you can see right there most, if not all, of the community Discords that folks are using to drum up interest, get people into matches, and play the game. And then, of course, you know, hopefully if the competitive scene can stay active, we might be able to see some more interest from folks like you who are watching, and that might help get some more folks back into the game, keep things interesting. I mean, the game's, well, what, 13 years old now? It's certainly no spring chicken, so, you know, I do think that's not going for it, and it doesn't really have the backing of a major IP or anything like that, except for Subnautica. So, you know, we'll kind of, I don't think it's ever going to be huge ever again, but, you know, we might be able to keep the player base going strong for a few years more. Really kind of dependent on the passion of the community and the players. So I hope that very long answer is enough for your question, and maybe enough to compensate for the fact that I didn't see it for the entirety of the last match. But I would say that, you know, to this day, nobody has created a game quite like Natural Selection 2. I have never really seen a game where the, you know, the melee range dynamic is taken to this extent. Nor have I seen a game where this sort of RTS FPS is done in quite this way, where you really have a team of FPS players against a team of RTS, or not a team of RTS, but in this very, you know, formalized RTS fashion. So, you know, I kind of describe it as Quake meets StarCraft. And that's sort of both games are now pretty damn dated themselves, so not particularly surprising that, you know, we haven't seen a game like it in a while, I suppose, but it just means it's that much easier to stick to it. Game starting here in 5 seconds. And showtime. We are going to have the second match of the grand finals between Crush and W plus Mouse 1. And we're going to see a Team Arms Lab build here. Totally reasonable. We're going to see a Crag Hive start for Aliens, which is sort of your defensive, health-oriented upgrades. Totally standard. You're going to see Billy gorging. Okay. And then you're going to see 2 Drifters here, each one to help capture a resource node here and a resource node here. Gorges are also capable of building, although you'd prefer, much like what Billy's doing now, to have Billy focusing on constructing a clog wall to sort of block Marines, and then have the Drifter focus on construction. We're going to have our first engagements here. Unfortunately, a lost engagement for Aliens here, an offload, which means 2 Marines are going to swing their way up here into Oregon, and we're going to have UOK push into the vent, seemingly clairvoyant that Shu is going to pop into the vent himself. Able to get a second kill, which is great. Ranger popping into the vent, heading over to Oregon. Burning of DEC, only 10 HP. Gonna get cleared, but not before he kills Assist and a Drifter. So great push from Marines, really. You know, a couple Marines for 8 res is great. We're gonna see Green Rex sort of capping slowly on the supply line side. He's gonna get a kill here. Yam sneaking quietly past him down into supply, or is he gonna try to pinch him in Skylights? I'm not entirely sure. Looks like he might be trying to pinch him in Skylights. If we come here, Green Rex is going to spot him. Unfortunately, he got parasited. Yam's going to get caught by 1812 and knocked out. In the meantime, A nice 3-man, 2 Skulks and a Gorge, clearing the north side of the map. This is where Aliens probably what they want to earnestly expand to. So it's good that they did that. We have 2 Marines up here in Oregon harassing that 3rd RT for Aliens, pushing them maybe. We'll see if we can push them down to 2, but Shu's waiting for friends. We will see if Shu plus maybe... I don't know if Billy's going to... I don't think Billy's going to be able to get into this vent anytime soon. He might. Looks like he's trying to. Yep. He's going to make it into the vent, but unfortunately the fight's already over and the resource tower has been slain before Billy was able to make it over. Although now that he's set up this sort of staircase for himself, he might be able to go back in. Although Marines are also welcome to use the staircase for themselves, so if the Gorge isn't careful, he might have just made an extra pathway for Marines. 15 Bruv swinging around here as the other Marines were swinging into Oxy, probably trying to pinch the Gorge. Unfortunately, a little bit too late, and his teammates were already killed. Aliens dropping to 2 RTs. I mean, this is a great start for Marines. 4 RTs versus 2 here. You know, a more traditional start with the armor upgrades, so that Marines have a little bit more survivability. We're going to see a Skull coming in from the back, catching the Marines off guard. Marine not able to get any more kills there and getting cleaned out. 2 shells up for Aliens, and armor 2 about 60% of the way done. We're going to head over here. So we haven't seen Electrical Core capped yet. We're going to see Duddy clearing Paperbird and immediately pushing up. And again, this is the sort of aggression you want to see from high-level Marines, right? You want to see Aliens on the back foot early. The earlier they're on the back foot, slower their upgrades are, the slower their life forms are, and the slower their tech is. And that gives Marines the breathing room they need to get their tech up online, which is as much gated by time as it is by resources. So Duddy's going to go down here, but you can see, you know, the Harvester, it's slowly, you can see that sort of green effect. It's slowly taking damage. You'll see a assist dropped right there to try to mitigate that. But, you know, the next push might be enough to kill it. See Punished come in. It looks like Green's waiting to ambush Billy. He might catch him off guard. Billy running away, getting caught by Green Rex. Great catch by Green Rex, sort of crouching back here where the Gorge can't see him. We have Lurks on the field. 2 Lurks, it looks like. We have Shu Lurk here, cleaning up 15 and saving Oxy. This is good. I'm a little surprised Aliens haven't assisted to waste yet, but it might be because Green was just here blocking the assist chain. So we'll see if they maybe start assisting now that he's been cleared. And it looks like the answer is yes, they have started assisting now that he's cleared. They're assisting over to waste. See, so we have phase tech coming up for Marines. This is good. You usually want phase tech around the 5-ish, 6-ish minute mark. So it's good that that's on time. Weapons 1 coming online for some extra damage. We're going to see 3 Marines here, and I don't know if I like that they're splitting. This is not ideal, because I think Billy was just... I mean, they might catch the Billy Gorge. That'd be great if they can kill the Billy Gorge again. That's another 10 resources down the drain. Billy is kind of by himself with nothing but a Drifter. Now Shu Lurk trying to help out. They are going to save Billy just barely. You know, Billy really hiding in the hole here, hoping that he doesn't get chased. I guess he had a vent he could take, but that would have been a tight squeeze. And you can see this gave Marines an opportunity to push into Oxy while the Lurks were heading over to save Billy. But Billy's just going to heal this all up. Not a problem. Oregon did go down while I was looking at that. We do have some pressure here on the upgrades. Unfortunately, 2 Lurks and a Skulk is more than enough to clear 2 Marines in that circumstance, with the Hive providing constant healing. So, you know, it wound up being a nothing burger, but that's okay. Better that you push than you stay defensive and let Aliens get too comfortable. So we're going to see kind of a spread out. We're going to see 1 Skulk kind of poking the middle. We're going to see 2 Lurks in repair, and we're going to see another Skulk in Skylights. Actually, we are going to see a 4-man in repair. And Billy clogging this off, likely in order to eventually try to capture this. If they go for Waste Bay Repair, that'll give them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 nodes. This nice L shape. And Aliens were able, unfortunately for Marines, to deny this gate at 92% built. So I'm sure Marines are pinching themselves right now. And they were able to just swing right in here and ruin that gate. So that is going to set them back a little bit. I'm surprised they didn't cap Electrical Core. You'd think... Okay, they are going to capture it now. That's good. That's just free money. And this is exactly where you'd expect to see a defensive gate. And you want to have at least 1 defensive gate to get yourself onto the left side of the map if you need to. But, oh, Shu died. Damn it. Shu, stop dying when I'm not looking at you. Alright, Shu Lurk going down to Duddy. I'm assuming an unbelievable and overwhelming difference in skill. Couldn't imagine any other way. Obviously joking. But they're gonna, you know, the Marines, after clearing that lurk, definitely winning the fight in the long term. Even if the RT went down, they still would have won the fight. 21 alien P-Res is worth so much more than 10 Marine team resources, for the most part. Marines are looking for that trash gate, which is definitely a more hedgy gate, but the benefit is that they have this nice long hallway to work off of, and they don't have to worry about building a power node right next to a hive, although there is no hive in waste yet. Marines may not know that. But unfortunately, they're going to get cleared out before they can get anything over there, and they're sort of relegated to this side of the map here. Losing repair is going to drop them to 2 RTs. Aliens sitting on a nice comfortable 4-5 if they get organ or repair. Waste hive dropped, very comfortable, given that Marines are still kind of in their spawn and next to their phase gates. And aliens are hungry. They're looking for stuff to kill. Looks like they're grouping up in skylights here as a 4-man, alert 3 skulks. No fades just yet. I mean, that early game res pressure was excellent, kind of holding the fades back. This is normally when you'd see them at around 7.5 minutes. So holding them to 8 minutes is good for Marines, but we really need to see some additional Marine tech coming up in order to make that early pressure worthwhile. Gravity gate finally coming up, so that's good. It might mean that we can get a gravity RT from Marines and start pushing them into the next tier of tech, which would be great. Let's see if we can get it here. Okay, so we're going to get the resource tower. That's good. We might see weapons 2 or shotguns coming up shortly, especially now that Fade Res is up. That 35 mark, very important. After LMG has died, he's likely going to go back to the hive and start his incubation process. I'm sure Yams might be saving for Onos, the highest tier life form, or he won't. Let's see. Yeah, it looks like he's going to be saving up, and LMG is going to be going Fade in the back here, and this is exactly what I meant kind of from those other matches, right? If you're going to life form Egg, life forming away from where Marines could walk in and potentially ruin your life is really important. And we are going to see some pressure from Marines pushing into Oxy. 15 getting killed by Paper Birds. 18-12 going to get any damage on him? I mean, a little bit, for sure, but, you know, not enough to scales. 2 Marines in Oxy. Eggs spawned. Hive at 66% in waste. So aliens are sort of, you know, waiting on that hive to come up for additional tech. They do manage to kill Oxy, so that's great that Duddy was able to do that. We're going to see maybe some pressure. I'm hoping we see some pressure from Marines into Baywing, and it looks like Green Rex is going to start doing that. I don't know what Punished is going to do here. I'm hoping Punished also goes to Baywing as a 2-man, so that the life forms are not able to single-handedly cause too much trouble, but he might be going to Oxy to sort of distract the life forms, which is totally valid. Unfortunately, he's going to get cleared without too much resistance. Shotguns and weapons 2 on the way. This is the tech that you want to see Marines working their way towards. Green Rex, hearing trouble, pulls himself into trash so he can get close to Duddy. And this is good Marine play. Grouping up, especially now that there's life forms on the field, a solo Marine is a dead Marine. And if you know life forms are on the field like this, you know, higher life forms, you want to make sure that you're pushing in large enough groups that you can really afford to sort of apply some pressure and threat. So we're going to come over here. We're going to see the Fade come in, bag a swipe, and again, he's going to be pushed out. Green Rex returning to gravity to sort of, he's aware that there's a bunch of skulks on the left side of the map, so he's going to probably try to get ready to reinforce on the left side where Yams is causing trouble by that phase gate. Yams going down! Okay, I really didn't expect that to happen. I thought something would happen in Baywing. But Yams flashing his Fade. Great sign for Marines, given that aliens are on 2 resource towers struggling for their 3rd. They are down now to 1 lurk and 1 Fade, with Shu being able to relurk in about maybe another minute or so. So not too bad. Shu getting his regenerate on his Skulk in order to push his HP up without having to retreat to a hive. And we might see a Ranger lurk. Not sure. He may instead opt to keep that resource pool for gorging for hive pushes. Yam's getting cleared here, no problem. Shu sneaking around, now full HP again. Coming around and biting this resource tower, forcing 18, 12, or 15 to deal with him. Now Shu, of course, seeing 15 coming because of the parasite, he's going to run backwards towards offload. 18, 12, trying to pick up the vent if Shu ran into the vent, but Shu simply ran back into the corridor, so he's not going to get caught there. We have Billy making his way over to the electrical core RT. We have a bunch of Marines fighting in Oxy, and I did say Oxy was going to be the room of the day. Lurk was able to clear him, although he's only 20%. He's, what, 49 HP. That's 5 bullets. So definitely tighter than I'm sure the Lurk would have liked, but not so tight as to be too scary. Duddy catching this unbuilt RT, that's exactly what you want to see. Weapons 3-starred from Marines, that's wonderful. Shotguns on the field, but I don't think we have any... We don't have any shotguns yet, so they might be either trying to surprise aliens or waiting for a push. Totally reasonable, given that they're managing to hold 4 resource towers at the moment, and sort of are applying some level of pressure to aliens. Although it would be great to see the shotguns come out a little bit sooner on the field. It'd be great to see that pressure applying to life forms, maybe in Baywing, Oxy. You know, you get a huge advantage when shotguns are first on the field because aliens are not aware that you're carrying them. And one wrong move against a shotgun can result in a dead life form. But we're going to see here what happens when you don't get shotguns on the field. You're going to see Ranger and Shu kind of cleaning up here. You know, if the player had a shotgun, that could have been a different fight. We're going to see Duddy cleaning the Skulk here. That's good. And we're going to see both Lurks at offload. And we're going to see this nice... This is what I'm talking about. When they get that U... That becomes a troublesome spot for Marines. And you can see Marines are sort of forced to play this very defensive setup. You know, Billy killing 15, even though a med was dropped on him. Not great. And now a Fade poking this RT. Fades do less damage to structures than other aliens, so this is more symbolic than anything else, but sort of waiting around for another life form. They might go for the gate here. They do not. They are going to go for the trash gate, and this is kind of what I was talking about before. Trash gate... you know, aggressive for sure, right next to Baywing, ready to cause trouble, but a little bit of a longer hallway, so helpful for sort of applying pressure without being too greedy. Paper Bird is out. He's safe. Okay. And we're going to see a robotics factory built. This usually is a good sign for Marines. They're getting this robotics factory up. However, it does give aliens a ton of time to continue to save up player resources, so... There is sort of the pro and con. This is definitely a slower way to push. We are going to see a shotgun on the field finally. Shu encountering the shotgun in real time. Hopefully didn't scare him too bad. And then we're going to see, hopefully, these Marines clearing this crap out of Baywing. We're going to go for the tunnel first, which is the correct play. You definitely don't want aliens to be fast traveling under your feet. Clearing Baywing, which is exactly what you want to see. And let's see, we're going to have Baywing come up. Resource tower built. Totally makes sense with a gate this close. You definitely want to have the resource node that's the closest to it so that you can get some free money. And my guess is that the Arc Robotics Factory is going to start researching here soon. If I remember correctly, can Marines use this to get... Does this block the vent? What's the vent entrance? Stupid. Sworn. I think there is a vent entrance and it's behind... Yep. So this robotics factory actually blocks the vent entrance entirely for aliens, so they cannot path through here. I'm not sure what's going on here, because you have a robotics factory, which implies you want a siege, and then you're running in with 2 shotguns and 2 rifles. I don't know how I feel about this. They're going to get spiked down for sure. Green Rex probably going to die to, yep, spike damage. Bone wall separating the players. Lurk dying to rifles, which is good that they were able to kill a Lurk, so definitely makes the push worth it. But I think here you want to actually pull your shotguns out of the fight. And what? Oh, what a great pinch. Fade, for some reason, heading over to Oxy hurt and then getting cleaned up. So, you know, they're down a Lurk and a Fade now, so this really changes the timbre of the engagement here. You know, from what I would argue is a poor engagement to a much stronger and scarier fight in favor of Marines. You know, Bonewall's trying to catch Marines separated, but it's not quite working. Punish coming in to support his teammates. Might get picked off if he's not careful. Skulk's really being deadly here. Billy dying in the last microsecond of Duddy's life. Aliens are now completely fadeless. They are likely going to beacon and bum rush, knowing that there are no fades left on the field. And that is exactly what they're going to do. Siege Factory is on the way. Probably not going to see anything, and if anything, I'd actually recycle that upgrade in order to keep more resources for Marine netting. But I don't think it's the worst play in the world. We're going to see immediately the aliens know that this fight is cooked. They're going to get the hell out of there, let the hive go, pull the structures out that they can pull out, and sort of reconsolidate themselves here and on this new part of the map that they've captured over here. And this is exactly what you would expect to see from high-tier play. You know, aliens knowing they are not going to be able to win that fight in a fair engagement. They're just going to have to take other parts of the map while there are 5 Marines wedged up in this area. And you can see they've done a good job. They've assisted here. They've assisted... No, not here yet, but they've definitely assisted the middle of the map. And they've retained their RT over here. And you can see Marines are hurting on resources, just now capturing their third again. So, you know, definitely so far so good for Marines, and aliens are sort of making the best of a bad situation. They do see the electrical core hive. Aliens detecting this, seeing the scan, I'm sure, are not feeling particularly good about that. They're going to try to group up and clear all the Marines. Ranger coming from the back with a fade, and able to clear the 2 Marines, no problem. And a very important clear. If the Marines built a gate there, that hive would probably be a lost cause. The commander fade getting back in the chair. Likely starting something or other. Maybe resisting. Yeah, resisting electrical core. We're going to see these Marines pushing again into supply lines. They know how important it is to apply pressure here. But they also know that they need to be back on the map. Right? They can't all in on this hive immediately and have it fail too many times, or aliens will just run them over. So we'll see here 1812 soloing Shu with a shotgun. Definitely a close one. I mean, just one more bite would have been enough to do the trick, or a couple spikes. So sort of an unfortunate judgment call from the Lurk there, and him getting cleared by that shotgun. Alright, unfortunately for aliens, gate has come up right next to electrical core. Losing that Lurk, not a great sign. And with no aliens in the room, as the electrical core hive is unbuilt and undefended, it is very likely to go down. Aliens may be using this, though, as an opportunity to trade for that trash ejection gate. 1812 sort of predicting that with Duddy, waiting patiently right next to the supply lines trash gate. And these aliens sort of unable to commit because they know that there's a bunch of Marines waiting around the corner to put them in the grave. Billy with the recycled robo factory, he is able to sneak through here and cause some trouble, and he's going to run off and probably look for resources. And Marines have killed the electrical hive and are now looking to kill the waste hive. This is definitely rough. You know, you definitely don't want to see this going down as well. That's another 40 res in the toilet for aliens. Aliens taking this advantage to kill supply lines, though, with 2 skulks. If they're able to route Marines off the side... Oh, Yam's dying as well. Definitely not what you want to see. Down to just 1 hurt fade. And Paperbird, who also goes down to the shotguns. The unbelievably merciless duo here of 1812 and Duddy. They're saving that 3rd shotgun, probably getting a gate back up in Baywing. Yep, getting that gate back up in Baywing to get Marines back on the map. Aliens may be playing this to the last, but they may also concede. I'm not entirely sure. This is definitely a hard space for aliens to recover from. They're sort of stuck on 3 resource towers, trying to cap a 4th in gravity, and I mean, really, it kind of depends on how Marines want to close it. This is definitely, Pipework's definitely the hardest hive to knock out here, and aliens know that, and they're taking advantage of this open lane in the center to abuse gravity, although Baywing is not that far from the center of the map, and Marines are now detecting that aliens have been building in here. They're going to probably pop the Drifter. That's right, not having an alien commander in the chair. While it's good to have a 6th player, especially a Fade on the field, not having an alien commander in the chair means a lot of resources may be lost to sort of not being able to micro your Drifters and your structures. So, you know, there is sort of a trade-off to be made there. The resource tower is going to go down in gravity. Doesn't look like looks like the tunnel is going to be discovered by Green Racks here, maybe? Might be running away in order to build the power. Baywing is totally cooked. That gate is gone. Marines may be instead pivoting to gravity, but I think that's going to be a 5-man push to gravity. I don't think Duddy, despite his aim today, was going to be able to deal with all of that pressure. And he's going to get cleared. And Marines are now routed entirely off of this side of the map, which is... Sorry, that was horrible. I meant to do that. Which is not good. It means the aliens are very likely to redrop that waste hive, and they do. And Marines are in a situation where they're sort of at this holding pattern where they don't have any additional tech to play with. They don't necessarily need any urgently at the moment. But unfortunately, they're also in a situation where they can't get their way north again or center again in the near future. They are going to be in a lot of hot water. So we might be seeing this 3-man push, and we're looking at the P-reses here on the left side of the screen. We do see a lot of P-res from Marines, so it doesn't look like they're going to be running out of shotguns anytime soon, which is good for them. Ooh, we're going to see LMG player almost get whacked. We're going to see Shulurk again, pretty hurt, but otherwise okay after clearing another shotgun. Okay, Marines are going to weld each other, and this is the only way that Marines can repair their armor is through welding, and so that's why it was good that they kind of stood over to the side. Whoops. Stood over to the side there and welded up. Fade going down, running in by himself against 2 shotguns and a rifle. Probably not the best maneuver. Unless he was looking to sack his Fade for some reason, but I'm not sure. He doesn't have enough res for another life form, so I'm not entirely sure what he was going for there. It might just be a miscommunication on the alien team's part. Gate's going to come up in Bay again. And the Hive, unfortunately, only 60% grown. It does now have a Gorge building it, which will make it come up a lot faster than if it just had a Drifter. But the Drifter's not even building the Hive, which is totally reasonable. It's building a shift for additional coverage for aliens. And here's where things kind of get interesting. This Hive not being built means that aliens can't really defend it by hiding around it. It looks like Billy's hiding on top of the Hive. Yeah, he's sort of hiding in this crook here, healing it up, while also not being able to be easily shot down. But with this many shotguns in the room, and the Hive already at half health, even though it's finished, you know, this is going to be rough, right? And this is great clumping. I'd love to see this shotgun get saved. It looks like they're not interested in saving it for some reason. And they are going to get cleared here, unfortunately, and the aliens are going to immediately descend on that gate. And that's probably... the gate's probably dead. I would not take the gate if I were Marines here, because now they're dead and they're spawn queued, which is even worse. Spawn queue, their entire team is dead. And when I say spawn queued, it means that, you know, they do have 3 infantry portals, so they're spawning at the maximum speed possible with 1 command station. But you can see a spawn queue, meaning that every time a Marine spawns, you can actually have players waiting for the spawners to have a slot for them. And with them completely routed out the map like that, you know, aliens definitely have a window to recover, although the Hive is only healing, you know, it's not healing super fast. It is at a mere 20% HP, so not super high number. If Marines are able to come back in the next minute or so, they might be able to just pop the Hive at that point. Aliens killing Baywing and kind of bracing for impact here. If Marines drop a gate here and are not prepared, they might get picked by these aliens, but with all these shotguns in position, it will definitely be tricky for aliens to make it. We're going to see here a nice little bit of welding on this Marine while the gate's coming up. Gate's live. They might cap this resource tower just to get a little bit of extra momentum as they go in. They know that the Hive is being slowly healed, but they also know that, you know, better safe than sorry. A lot of HMG purchases. That's what these green bars mean shotguns, and this red bar means HMGs, which are heavy machine guns. You know, large weapon, very slow reload time, but 100 bullets instead of 50. And it does an exceptionally large volume of damage to players. So we are going to see here, you know, the HMGs running into the room, and, you know, I don't love the split here, but combined with shotguns means that they can do a lot more range damage than a shotgun would be able to do. And you can see that's what they're doing with the HMGs now, right? They're shooting skulks. This is what 1812 is doing, right? Shooting skulks off these teammates' feet, sort of running around the corner to reload, so it takes so long to reload, and then using this as sort of a way to keep the lurks at bay. By pushing in on the lurks while they're spiking behind the Hive with an HMG, you're able to do a lot more damage than you would with a shotgun, and that's kind of what he's doing here. And you can see here he's going behind the Hive, looking for the life forms. That's what they're looking for. That's what this team is looking for. They're not looking for the Hive, especially with this whip and other garbage around it. Instead, what he's looking for is they're looking for that last fade and that last lurk. I don't even know where... oh, there's Shu. Okay. And you can see the last fade is really doing his best just to stay alive, right? He doesn't want anything to do with this. He's going to flit around and waste bullets while the Skulks come in and try to get player damage, and Paperbird on a rampage after his lurk going down, clearing a shotgun and an HMG. Shu-Lurk, unfortunately, going down to the HMG, leaving just 1 fade on the alien team right now. Not sure what Yams' play is. He might try to sneak around and go in for some damage. Paperbird spawning, running in, dying. I mean, it's not the end of the world if there were eggs in the room, which there are not, so I'm not sure I agree with that decision. Probably would have been better to go in with the team. And you can see this deadly clump here is going to put you at a huge disadvantage for aliens. And this Hive is slowly going down, while Marines continue to just output unbelievable damage on aliens here. You can see Skulk. Ooh, Fade is going to live, just barely. Whip put in here to disrupt the Marines. We'll see what happens there. I think we're just going to focus it down. Yep. You know, if the Whip went in a little bit sooner when the aliens were all around, I think that would have been a great play. I think the Whip going in by itself just kind of nothing burgered. We see a Bone Wall blocking punished, which is good, but probably not enough to keep this 4-man spread separated enough to get aliens in there. And you can see here, you know, we have Skulks trying their best to make it in. Marines reinforcing each other, saving each other's weapons. There's no Bile Bomb to destroy the weapons faster, so they're kind of in a tough spot. Gorge trying his best to heal the Fade as the Fade goes in for these fights. aware that just one misstep and that Gorgy body is looking like it's in the spawn queue. You know, Hive dead, unfortunately, for aliens. Leap lost once again. Sort of an upgrade for Skulk mobility, which happens at biomass 4. Aliens have, of course, during this push, right? This is a lengthy push for Marines. The Marines have dropped down to 2 resource towers. Aliens have done a great job with this sort of center map tunnel, capping 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 resource nodes. So they're feeling good in terms of resources, but they need our tech points in order to succeed. And so Marines are definitely not out of the woods yet. An electrical core has just been claimed. You know, what Marines really need to do is they need to set up shop right here, push their way into Pipeworks. That's really the correct play. We're getting another lurk from Shu here. And this is all possible because of this unbelievable glut of resources for aliens. It's just donating free money into their players' coffers that they can spend on upgrading their life forms to lurks and fades. We're going to have the Marine Commander jumping out for the first time in a while. Here in a Skulk in the base. We're going to have a whole bunch of Marines north side. We might be seeing the push into Oxy, and Marines just sort of accepting that there's a Hive coming up in Electrical. They may also not be aware that it's up, or they may assume it's already been built. Not always clear what the other team is thinking. But I think we are going to start seeing, you know, 2 Parasited Marines. Aliens know Marines are in here, but there's not a whole lot they can do about it. We have the Fade here in Pub, Lurk and Electrical Core, and the Skulks. Looks like they are going Lifeform again, a Lurk and a Fade. So we are going to see kind of the full Lifeform spread again, but unfortunately, unlike last time where Marines sort of opted to go for a Supply Lines gate into Electrical Core, this time they're looking for blood, and they're looking for that push from Oxy into Pipeworks. And I think it's going to be much more difficult for aliens because losing Pipeworks Hive usually means that you are out of the game. We'll see, but you know, right now Marines looking to cap their 5th resource tower. 15 Bruv sitting here covering the gate. That doesn't go down while Marines are on the offense. Looks like he is possibly going to phase out shortly. We'll see if he goes for the resource defend. He is. And we're going to have a 5-man push here. We do have one biting the gate behind immediately. This is where we want to have 15 staying on the gate so that he can cover the gate from Shu's biting. We're going to have the Marines, unfortunately, forced to back up so they can cover the gate before Shu kills it. You know, Shu very smart getting out of there before he can get hit by the shotgun. We're going to have to weld this gate right now. Shu's looking to harass again, perhaps? No, he's up top in this vent here, sort of waiting for the right moment to strike. We are going to see some 15 Bruv now defending the gate, waiting for Shu to come down. And then we're going to see this 4-man push into the Hive in Pipe. Shu coming back, knowing that this is sort of the make-or-break fight here. We're going to see 1812 getting spiked heavily. We're going to see Duddy getting spiked heavily. We're going to see Punished getting spiked heavily. And you can see all the upgrades, all the major stuff in this room is up for grabs. And Marines, it looks like, are sort of focusing on the bread and butter, which is the key part of the Hive, right? Like, you know, you can blow all your bullets on one of these, but you're going to lose a ton of weapons for one replaceable upgrade. What you really want to do here is focus life forms, which is what they were trying to do, and they weren't able to succeed. Baywing Gate is going to get absolutely crashed. And Marines know this. They're hopefully not going to keep phasing, because that gate is donezo. Their con jumped out and died, but that was about it. And of course, with the commander dead, means they can't drop any phase gates anytime soon. He's getting back in the chair, which is good. You might be seeing a gate in supply lines. And a push into electrical core to drop aliens back down to 1 Hive. We will see. Billy sort of spotting all this pressure, and he's going to go down to the HMGs. Not the most fortunate situation, but also very difficult for Fates to get out. This hallway is 10,000 miles long, and poor Shu is going to suffer a similar fate trying to get out of there as a bunch of HMG bullets track him over to here, where he's eventually going to go down. Alright, well, gate's up. Let's alert down and a fade down, so, you know, Marines are in a much better situation against life forms than they were before. You know, the only downside, of course, being that all these HMGs do very little damage to structures, and so you'll see all those bullets be spent. Not a whole lot of damage on the Hive from them. You'll see aliens sort of pivoting. They know that the electrical core Hive is probably cooked, and they're going to sort of move into Baywing in mass. Unfortunately, 15 Bruv and Green Rex are waiting for them. If they can catch the Skulk, they might be okay. The gate is at 45%, so, you know, one blunder here, and that's not good for them. Electrical core Hive is unfortunately going to go down. Paper Bird looking like he's getting some spikes in there just to keep them busy. But with med packs, it's very difficult to outspike the Marines. Paperbird very barely getting away on 27 HP. Just 3 bullets from death. And Vincers, I just saw your note, but thank you. I appreciate it. This is not something I've done before, so hopefully it's been good the last couple of days. But yeah, I mean, the ENSL basically said they needed someone to cast, and I thought I'd show my support for the league and that I think the activity and high-octane games they put out are really important for keeping interest in the game and keeping people invested. So I do want it to succeed, even though I'm not part of it myself. You can see here, you know, aliens are flush with resources, but losing hives like crazy. They've opted to put a whole bunch of structures in the way to provide bonuses to their players, hoping that that's enough to get this gate. Unfortunately, Marines are having absolutely none of it, and are shoving aliens out of the room. No problemo. With electrical core cleared and capping, and waste not occupied with a hive, aliens are forced to get Biomass 4, a very expensive upgrade on their first hive, in order to get those Biomass 4 upgrades, you know, with Leap. And I don't... Is Advanced Metabolized Biomass 4 in competitive? I actually don't remember. Some slight changes from the vanilla game. But there's definitely a lack of upgrades for the players here. And we are seeing aliens getting kind of desperate, trying to figure out a lane here. Their best lane might be gravity through shipping to their main. This observatory right here... Oops. This observatory here does cover all the way out to here. All the way out to here, actually. So aliens can't really rush from this without getting spotted. However, aliens are grouping up over here on the right side of the... or the left side of the map, excuse me. If they can bag this docking bay gate, they can get electrical again. Oh my goodness. Yams has gone down. That's what I get for not looking. Yam's going down here.
Station under attack.
We're going to see Billy poke main, but it's not going to amount to much. Duddy going for the tunnel. He's going to get spotted by these 2 lurks and absolutely deleted. 1812, all sorts of upset that Duddy went down and is trying to make good on that with his shotgun, but he's going to get picked off himself, and his 20 res is going to sit on the floor and starve. Aliens may be going for a hive in the middle of the map, which is sort of the last tech point that they have access to. I'm not entirely sure if they're going to go for it or not. They are going to try to cap repairs around the Marines, but I think 15 Bruv is quite alright to deny that and prevent that from happening. And really what we want to see right now, right? We have shoe-biting waste, that's good. If aliens can get another waste hive, that's great, but it's going to be hard to keep with Baywing. Marines, I think, are concerned about this gravity hive. What they really want to do is pen aliens right here. If they can pen aliens here into pipe, they've won the game. And aliens are doing everything in their power to prevent that from happening. And so far, they're doing a great job of that. You know, they're assisting through Organ, they're assisting through Oxy, they're assisting up to waste. And they're sort of forcing Marines to... and they're assisting down through offload, actually. So really, they're trying to force Marines to be as distracted as possible. And, you know, this is... you know, if we lose enough life forms... Oh, we are getting a pause from a crash. I do not know who crashed, but we have a pause. Which gives me an opportunity to describe what exactly is going on here. So, tunnel just went down in, oh, yeah, open tunnel just went down here. This means that Marines have basically locked aliens to... they must heal in pipe and work around pipe. So they have to travel from pipe to wherever they're going. You know, for Marines in that state, that's a really good sign, right? It means that Marines are going to probably be able to begin that process of locking the aliens into this little bubble here. And if they can do that, they're pretty much set to go as long as aliens don't do something very unexpected. And it is absolutely true that aliens are looking to get access to waste again, but... you know, with the Baywing gate still up, unless they recycle Baywing and don't notice a hive dropping down behind them, they may just push up from here into Oxy and then into pipe. We will see. They may also resort to arcs. Arcs, very common on this map for dealing with pipe works. This hive is definitely the most defensively strong of the hives on this map. I mean, you can see here, right? Tons of cover. For aliens to play around, tons of space for Marines to get picked off. Very difficult to get into the room for Marines. But we will see. We got some struck. Is that assist? I can't tell. Oh, it's a shade. That shade didn't die, but we did lose a fade. Okay, I'm a little annoyed at the fade's abilities to die in rooms where I don't expect them to be. Jetpacks on the field. I don't know how I missed that. But Marines now have jetpacks. Jetpacks, one of the strongest upgrades in the game. Allows Marines to sort of travel, and you can see here with Green Rex, that little bar on the bottom left of your screen is the jetpack fuel meter. And it is it's not really, the best way to describe NS2's jetpacks is that it's more of like a boost pack, right? So you can see it's really helpful for lateral movement, kind of sluggish at vertical movement. But, this game's all about lateral movement, so it's more than enough. We did get to witness Duddy popping Shu like a zit in Coolant. And I am feeling kind of, Shu, I think, is just warming up. So hopefully we can see some non-washed gameplay. We're going to see exactly what I talked about earlier, though. Look at this. We got 3 Marines in Oxy. We got 1 Skulk biting the Marine base node, which I don't know, I wouldn't argue is the strongest play, but he's definitely getting close to it, and definitely making 1812 a little bit upset. You can be sure about that. And you can see aliens are expanding, but unfortunately... Wow, that's a lot of crap here. And they might be using this to kill the Oxygate when Marines push in, but I'm also not entirely convinced there's much the aliens can do about all these jetpacks. And if this hive goes down, there's kind of nothing they can do. You can see sort of the common issue with jetpacks, though, is that you can see Marines are not keeping together like they normally would. And you can see Green Rex in big trouble trying to reload. Running away to his teammates. 1812 running down the hallway, and this is very common. Marines kind of running away, splitting up, all this other stuff with jetpacks because they can move so much clearer in the lateral direction. Commander definitely needs to be medding Green Rex. Okay, finally getting the meds he needs. Gate is wide open here. We have the whole alien team, it looks like, if I'm right. Yep, whole alien team is here in Pipeworks. We're going to see a Skulk go down. We're going to see a second Skulk go down. We're going to see jetpacks chasing down the Lurk. The Lurk is stuck in the vent, but very much alive. I'm not sure how he's going to heal and come back. I think he's going to try to come back and get some spikes off, but I don't think he's going to... He's full HP. Hive does go down, and that is going to be GG for Crush. A nice 1-2-1 for the Grand Finals. And very strong play from Marines that game. They played it patient, they played it slow, really just focused on playing whack-a-mole with some of these alien hives. Aliens doing great trying to expand around Marines, but, the way that Marines in this game work is it's all about picking the engagements for both teams as you slowly close the vice. And eventually that vice just closed right around Pipeworks, and that was it. I'm going to briefly update the scoreboard. Never crashed. The way that there's sort of few different brands of crashing. I mean, play the game long enough, and inevitably the game will crash, and there's not a whole lot you can do about it. Most of the time, it's getting disconnected from servers in weird situations, or if you have poor connection or any variety of other reasons. I don't crash too terribly often in this game, but even I've crashed enough times where it's certainly conceivable that it happens. It happens more often if you're running certain mods, and competitive play all plays off of the NS2 competitive mod. So there's always the chance that you get a crash. And I wish there was more to be said about that in the positive sense, but that's just sort of the game we play. Okay, so we are back on tram. I believe everyone heard my spiel about tram last time, but you know, very common pick here. We're likely to see a very similar, you know, opening to what we saw in the last tram matches between Bober and Crush, although I'm suspecting we might see slightly different plays. Certainly different. We are going EU. Fuck you. Okay. Might be going to a different server as well. Not sure. Not sure. You're gonna have some disagreement for about ping. I mean, we do have two of the European players on 174 ping, which is awfully high. That does certainly make it more difficult. You know, NS2 for the most part has, you know, reasonably well. It has a good ping protection compared to other games, but even then, 175 is an awfully high ping, especially when, you know, the difference between life and death is often measured in milliseconds. You know, so it's not an incredibly invalid concern that these teams are having, that they want to make sure that their ping is, you know, within reason. You know, the higher ping tends to be harder for aliens than for Marines, but it's pretty tough for both teams for sure if their pings are not lined up. So my suspicion is that might have to just pan out over the course of the next few minutes. And from there, we will decide the server. It looks like the map has been locked in as tram. So, at the very least, we'll be playing on tram. The lovely map here with the, if we come out here, the little tram cars moving all the way through this little pathway up here. And through the gates, the forbidden gates, where we will never really know where it goes, since the map abruptly ends. Although if you come down here, you can kind of see some of the extra assets and whatnot. Let me just double check that I draw a map. Okay, so still figuring this all out. Sorry about the delay, everyone. Obviously, this is a great time to go over questions or anything like that. It looks like we have some time on our hands while these teams continue to make the decision about how exactly they want to go about playing these next 2 rounds of the set. Okay. So that's interesting. Full disagreement over ping. Well, I guess we'll see how this materializes. Guess I'll just kind of sit around and see how this goes. Definitely unusual that this would be the reason for a forfeit. So, technically, if I remember correctly, the rules here are that the other team gets to play on the server of their choosing on each map vote, but I could be wrong. Yeah, I don't... Guess we'll figure this all out here. Sort of strange that... What is included in the balance mod for tournaments? Well, you know what? I'm just gonna... While everyone continues to sort this out... Yeah, it looks like we have a drama stream here, but that's okay. I'm sure we'll figure something out. But the balance mod for tournaments... Most of the changes, Darkcore, are... changes for the 6v6 format, so, you know, cysts build slightly slower, so it's harder for aliens to expand. Shotguns have a narrower spread and have less fall off, so they're better for, you know, they're better for 6v6 play. You know, shotgun is now a stronger solo weapon. There's a Mac that starts in your base that doesn't normally start there to sort of help with early game expansion. There are changes to tunnels, which now Gorges can drop them, which is nice for 6v6 play. There's a few other kind of changes, but that's kind of generally how you would go about doing that. Oh, gee. Well, yeah, it was a shame. You know, we had some great matches the first two matches, so um, does look like, unfortunately, we're going to see a forfeit of some kind or another. Ah, jeez. Well, tragically, it does look like this is the, I can call it. I don't really want to call it. I'm hoping that we can get an agreement instead of further disagreement here, but somewhat surprising that after a close 1-1, we get something like this. But I mean, there is a referee. Wonder if I can act as a referee. Not been told to do that, but maybe, given that it's a total standstill right now, maybe that is the correct decision. I hear you, Dream Knights. I would love to see, I mean, look, I hear you guys. I would love to have just some more matches be played. I don't see it as the end of the world here. It's not like there's money on the line or anything. So, ideally, it'd be great to have at least some matches be played here. I do think that it would not be that big of a deal to... I don't know what the teams agreed to. They may have agreed to something and not put it on stream, so I can't see that. Let me see if we can get some matches going, though. So, sorry about the delay, everyone. I'm hoping just as much as you are for some more matches, because that is what we're all here to watch. Yeah, I mean, that's amazing, yeah. Let the US annex half of Europe so that we can all play on NA together as a big, happy NA family. But, Well, look, the fairest overall average ping is. It sounds good, but if that's not what the team's agreed to, I mean, we're going to try to sort this out, but. Yeah, I mean, I'm working with the admins right now. That's why I'm kind of quiet here, is I'm talking to some admins to see if we can come to an agreement with the players. Certainly unexpected to see this level of disagreement about ping. Who's even say the server is emptied in NA, so maybe folks on the EU one? Let's see. Nope. Well, we'll keep sitting here for a little bit, but I don't want to wait too much longer and force everyone to wait. Maybe I'll give it another 5-10 minutes, see if we can make a change here. So, hang tight. We'll see if we can make something happen. I really want to get some more matches. So, great if we could actually see that. Yeah, so to answer some questions here, you know, it wasn't a DC so much as it was a crash. So I think it might have been a hard crash, not a DC. There was also a DC from the NA team on the NA server, so I'm not entirely sure about all that. You know, if obviously there was server issues, like everyone was getting booted, you know, that would be that. Yeah, I mean, I hear you. I just was hoping to cast some games. The Grand is what I was hoping to cast all the way through. I was really excited for it, so I'm kind of bummed out that this is where this is going right now. But just really hoping we can get these players, you know, to agree to something here. But I'm not sure. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely unusual. Yeah, this is just strange. Um... Alright, so we're going to get some admin action the next 3 minutes. We're going to see if that is enough to unstick the situation here. So hang tight another 3 minutes or so. Happy to hang out a little bit with chat in the meantime. But yeah, this is this was definitely unexpected on my end, but also kind of surprising. I mean, you know, I guess I don't have much to say about it except that again, it's sort of the tragic nature of a game with small player base, so you kind of have to spread across the world to get your players, and that means that inevitably you're going to have folks of varying ping levels. And unfortunately, that just means that not everyone's going to be happy every match on every server. We're going to see what admin action is occurring hopefully soon. I'm sort of like it for being in the dark, I suppose. Yeah, look, I'm not going to weigh too much into the rightness or wrongness here. That's not really my role as a caster. I'm just sort of trying to keep the hype train going, but hard to keep a hype train going when there's nothing to hype. So, I really just want to make sure matches are played kind of anywhere. Just want to make sure we got something, get some good stuff going. That's the goal, just to get some good stuff going. Let's see. 15 Bub is back. Let's see. I don't even know. Hang on. It's like is everyone rejoining NA? Oh, okay, we got a question. That's good, at least something. I feel bad just having everyone sit here. Forgers can build tunnels so they spend res. I think so. I think it costs them... It might cost them 4? I don't actually know. I have to look at the most recent version of comp mod. Good question. But it's definitely not a lot. I haven't played comp mod in a while. Because I've been focused on leading the community balance mod effort for a public play, which is the new content mod that the community's been working on for pubs. So I'm sort of out of the loop on all the competitive changes. But I think it does cost them a small amount of res to drop a tunnel. I'm trying to remember what other kind of major changes there are in competitive. There is that whole laundry list. I wonder if I could, like, is there a way to... No, change log isn't anywhere on the in-game. I'd have to go look at a piece of paper. I think some health values were changed for structures, like hives have less HP and stuff like that. Stomp. If Stomp has been moved to biomass 9 and Xenocide to biomass 10. Which are sort of like your endgame Onos and Skulk upgrades. Fades have advanced swipe instead of stab, which basically is just all of your basic attacks do more damage. I know those are changes that have been in comp mod. But I guess Neurotoxin has also been added. It's a replacement for Focus. And it does slow poison damage after a successful bite or swipe or spit. And it can kill Marine players. So there is that. I don't remember much else there is, though, off the top of my head. But, yeah, I mean, I guess we can just do, like, a little bit more Q&A while I wait and see what the heck's going on here. Let's see. Yeah, I mean... Yeah. Yep, sorry for you popping in here, Lutkins. This is exactly the problem right now, is admins are talking with the teams right now. There's a heavy disagreement about which competitive server will be on. As far as I'm concerned, it doesn't matter. I mean, there's no money. I'm not going to wait too much longer, though. I don't want to subject everyone to just waiting through a bunch of BS. So I'll probably close out in, I don't know, 5-ish minutes at around 2:50 Eastern. Just people don't know what's going on fully yet, so we're just going to wait another 5 minutes. Okay, I think we have broken the deadlock. You're going to see Team Crush joining here in just a moment. On NA, we're hopefully going to see W plus Mouse 1 doing the same. We will see, I suppose, but we're hopefully making some progress. Fingers crossed. So, hopefully. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it's possible to change the server without much issue. You may be able to defer last matches here. I mean, to give a summary of what I'm seeing here, it looks to me like there was no decided upon agreement on what would happen for each map of the grand finals in terms of server pings. NA was under the impression that we'd be playing the full grand final set on NA, and EU was under the impression we would be swapping after map 1. And so that disagreement has led to had led to a deadlock, although it looks like maybe we'll see that resolve itself. I thought it was resolved, but now I'm not sure. We'll find out soon. We may also defer the last set of matches to a different day. Don't know. Still figuring that out. And thank you everyone for being patient. I wish I had more control over the situation, but unfortunately, I do not. I am sort of at the whim of the players and the tournament organizers. Yeah, I mean, I hear you on the 1A, 1NA, 1EU, but I don't know if that's what was agreed upon or not. The rules kind of say that if the teams agree, both teams agree to playing on just one server, they can do that. So I don't know if that's... I don't know fully... I mean, when I showed up, you guys were here on stream with me. I showed up and I was not fully aware of what the agreement between the two teams may or may not have been. So I don't, unfortunately, can't really mediate. Okay. That is the call here that the teams have entirely deadlocked and are unable to move forward, so the matches from this point are canceled. We might see something in the future, I'm not really sure, but for now, things are canceled, and I'm gonna shut down the stream from here. Sorry guys that it ended at this note. I was really hoping we could get a full set, but I suppose we will we'll have to tune in next time and see if we can get some full tournament all the way through the next time. So, sorry guys, wish I could give you better news, but maybe I'll be back in the next weekend or two to get things up and running. Stay tuned to the official NS2 Discord and the ENSL Discord and or other community Discords. I'm sure we will post announcements if there are future competitive events, and I would love to see you guys all in the next casted tournament. Thanks, guys.